What is going on, guys? My name is Leo, and today we are going to be talking about habits. But first off, I want to introduce myself because this is my first daily vlog that I will consistently be showing up with you guys, for you guys, every single week, talking about my life, where I was, where I'm going, and where I currently am right now. And so, like I said, my name is Leo Padilla, and about 2 years ago, actually, let me back up even further. Growing up, I had a easy life. I had both parents in the house. Mom and dad both had jobs. There was always food on the table. And every single school year, we would show up to school with brand new shoes. And, everything would go my way. Elementary school, middle school, leading into high school. I was a good athlete. I was decently looking, right? So if I had some type of desire to talk to a girl, they would have some kind of interest towards me as well. And so I never had any pushback. There wasn't really any resistance towards what I wanted or towards who I was, right? And so that led me to create a soft mindset. I thought that things would always go my way. So when things didn't go my way, I would crumble. I would have negative self-talk. My self-esteem was always so low, right? And so going into high school, I played a little bit of sports. I then got introduced to marijuana around junior year, and I didn't make grades to play sports, so I fell out of that. And little by little, my mindset and who I was slowly diminishing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to laugh and joke around with friends. And little by little, I felt as though there was something wrong with me. I wasn't confident. I didn't have the ability to stand up and speak in public. And so this made me feel ostracized, isolated, right? And so long story short, I graduated high school. I joined the military because I wanted to find the confidence. I wanted to figure out who I was throughout that experience, right? Fast forward, I served for 6 years. My wife got pregnant, found out I was gonna have twin boys, and I decided to make a change because I didn't want to pass down how I felt to my kids. Ended up finding out I was gonna have 2 boys, and so that responsibility became even more of a necessity, or else my kids will then suffer like I did mentally, right? And so didn't want to drag all that too far. I kind of did, but that kind of sums it up, right? And so after I got out of military, I ended up pursuing a construction job. And during that construction job, I found out that I could buy real estate, that I could open up a business from home. And so I started to seek opportunities by calling homeowners and making offers on their home. And that lasted for about a year. I ended up doing 2 deals, and one of my checks was about $30,000. And the second one was another $30,000, and I sold my house on a wrap. And so I was able to make money on that. But during that course of a year, I realized that it was a lot more difficult to scale a business, not physically, like knowing what to do, but the mindset and the narrative that you have throughout the process of building a business, right? And so I realized that I was lacking that aspect. And so long story short, within that year, I ended up having to sell my house. I was, jobless, and I didn't have any money left over. And so I had to jump back into the W-2 world and develop this right here. And so I ended up meeting one of my coaches, and he completely changed everything for me. He gave me the blueprint. He told me that the reason why I lacked the confidence to be who I felt like I was supposed to be was because of vices. I was always drinking whenever things got difficult. Whenever things got difficult, Any slightest thing, when I would have the slightest inconvenience, I would run so I can silence that stress, so I can silence that uncomfortable feeling that I had in my chest and feel better about it, right? Little did I know, every time that I would run from problems, run from stress, run from conflict, I was diminishing the power that I had within, right? Because when you're in a problem, when you face problems head on, when you face stress, when you self-inflict adversity to your life, you're introducing yourself to opportunities so you can grow into the next step of who you can become, right? But if you're always running from difficulties, then you're basically avoiding who you could become, right? You're avoiding the best version of yourself that you can be at that moment. And that's what I was doing, right? I would smoke weed, I would get drunk, I would go out and just kind of forget about my problems. And it got worse and worse and worse. It even got to the point where I would immediately get off of work. I would go to the gas station. I would get a 12-pack, come home, drink, not talk to my kids, not spend any time with my wife, any quality time. All that I would do would just be laying on the couch and just drinking. And then I would also indulge in food. And he made me realize that that's the reason why I couldn't step into who I desired to be. Okay. So he told me that your conscience is the authentic voice of God. And if you listen to it, then it will guide you to a better life. But if you are riddled with vices and you're always indulging in food and seeking pleasure and slowly running from who you could be, then your conscience will get it won't be as loud as it should be, which means you won't be guided, right? You'll basically be asleep. You'll be dormant. But if you slowly start removing all of those things that you're using to run away, you'll start listening to it. It'll start become louder and louder and louder. And so that's what I started to do. And then he also told me exactly what to do with my diet to get rid of all the fat. He told me that if I work out consistently every single day, like I said I would, then I would develop a stronger mindset, that I would be a lot more confident in myself, that if I held my word to myself, then I can trust myself a lot more. But if I did the complete opposite, then that's when I would lose the trust. Okay? Long story short, I ended up dropping 40 pounds. I dropped the alcohol, I dropped the weed, and I became a lot more confident. And I could slowly see the man coming out, right? The man that had trust in himself, the man that can confide in himself, that every time he said he was gonna do X, he would take care of X. And every time he couldn't do Y, he would make sure that the reason why he couldn't do Y was because he had a lot more responsibilities to do over here. Little by little, my word became more potent. It had more meaning. It weighed a lot more. People started to take me a lot more seriously. And that feeling was fulfilling. It was fulfilling. And so that's why I want to jump on here and show you guys and explain to you exactly how I did that and how you can do that as well, right?